Hello, hello, hello. My name is Ed Jones, and I am the host of the Player Development Pod. Thank you so much for being here. And as we get closer to the Player Development Conference, we're going to take a step back to the second most listened to podcast featuring Gus Felder, who's now with Nebraska football. But before we get started, we have two opportunities, two scholarships for the Player Development Conference. One opportunity is a ticket. Another opportunity is to have one of our speakers mentor you. Yes, one of our speakers wants to mentor one of you all. Information on applying is in the show notes. You will have to send in a video and write a quick blurb on why you're interested in player development, why this ticket will help you for the Player Development Conference, and what you would bring to the player development, athlete development space. Yes, that's two opportunities, two scholarships to the Player Development Conference is in the show notes. And if you heard this and you're like, you know what, I want to sponsor somebody to go to the Player Development Conference, reach out to our email, info@btfprogram.com, and let's make it happen. So all the information is in the show notes. Now, back to today's episode. As you all know from last week's episode with Alexander Martin, that as we're getting closer to the conference, I want to take time to make sure the conference is the best conference it can be. And so we're going back to an episode I did with Gus Felder. At the time of the podcast, Gus Felder was with the Carolina Panthers. It is an incredible podcast. He's talking about his role, his path there. What you'll love about Gus is he's so real in describing what the role is, what he did, while he was in the role in the NFL. Now, Gus is with Nebraska football currently, and Gus will be a speaker at the 2024 Player Development Conference. So you're going to hear him talk. He's going to open up about onboarding, creating that immediate success in the lives of athletes. So I'm so excited for you to dive into this podcast episode. Once again, there's two scholarship opportunities to come to the conference. And if you want to create another one, let me know. But let me get out of the way so you can listen to my conversation with Gus. Player Development Pod family, we are finishing season 2. I'm excited to finish season 2 with Gus Felder from the Carolina Panthers, leads the player engagement department there. He's done a lot. I had an opportunity to meet him at the NFL Combine. I had an incredible time in the 2 days, spent time with me, gave me game. I've heard a lot of great things about him from others, and it was great to experience that with him. But we're ending it here special this season. Season 2 has been great, and I'm so excited to have you on. Gus, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself. Man of many trades, many trades, has done it all, excelled in it all. So,
well, Ed, I appreciate you having me, man. I'm excited just to get out here and get on here and share anything with anyone who wants to listen. Just like yourself, if anybody reaches out to me in my DMs or through email, through text, I try my best to respond and keep in contact. I just enjoy building relationships. So I appreciate you for being humble enough to do that, because some of us aren't. Our pride's in a way of reaching out to people, and you did that, and it's great. And I got to see your heart those 2 days that we were out in Indianapolis, and it was great. So myself and Gus Felder, been a blessing to be in this field. I've held every position in football you could think of. Football and athletics. Of course, I was a football player growing up in Philadelphia. My high school dropout, ended up going to Job Corps. From Job Corps, going off to Penn State. I'm going to Berwick, Pennsylvania, a high school. And as I tell you these stories, you'll hear like God put people in my life to help me be who I am today. Just people that just genuinely care about developing people.
Right.
Like I said, I moved from Job Corps to a home in a new town in Berwick, Pennsylvania. God put me in contact with a lady by the name of Sally Johnson, who was my caretaker while I was in Berwick, Pennsylvania. But my high school football coach, George Curry, was a great, motivator and developer of people. So from Penn State, from Berwick, ended up going off to Penn State University. Graduated from Penn State, had a short stint in the National Football League with the Cleveland Browns. And I knew before I took that opportunity to go with the Browns, went through the whole draft process, get calls, you fill in calls those 3 days, whatever you got going on. And I ended up being a free agent to the Browns. And I knew before that I'd already started a graduate assistantship at Penn State in athletic administration. That's where my first journey started in athletic administration, working with guys like Mark Sherburne, Sue Sherburne, and those guys in the administrative office at Penn State. And went off to the Browns and got released by the Browns twice, and then ended up coaching back at Penn State. And then from there, I'm just not going to go each stop until tell you everything
Right.
to do. I've been a head high school football coach. I've been assistant high school football coach. I've been Division II assistant coach, assistant head coach, interim head coach. I've been blessed to be able to do another grad assistantship at Penn State University. I'm trying to think everybody, I'm missing anyone else. So talk about jobs, and then I've been an athletic director at the high school level. I've been an associate athletic director at the Division II level, director of strength and conditioning for a few Power 5 schools. And now my role now in the manager of player engagement with the Carolina Panthers.
Nice. I don't, that's a lot of experiences. I wonder whoever edits your resume is the best at it. But that's one thing we talk about a lot of things on this podcast, and I know in the player development stage, which I was at on the college level, we always talk to players about transferable skills, and it's awesome to hear, you as a former player and the transferable skills that you've had, in your career. So my question would be just kind of, tail off the questions we have, but just going off what you said, what do you think is the biggest transferable skill that's helped you excel at every single level you've been in?
Just the relationships, building and fostering positive relationships, and being genuine with yourself and who you are, and meeting people where they are and giving them everything you have to offer. I can't be nobody else but Gus. I've been around a lot of great coaches, been around a lot of bad coaches, been around a lot of great players, been around some not so good players. Getting some good organizations, some good programs. And it all goes down to, what you put into, you get out of it. A lot of people that have their the sour taste in from poor experiences goes back to relationships. And they can base a bad experience off of an interaction with one person who's negative or not forthcoming to them, where they can make it. Like for me, I love every bit of my experiences at Penn State and at Berwick and at Job Corps because of the people that I've built relationships with. So I tell everybody right now, my best position or job, you want to call it, I hate calling it job, my best position or job I ever held was at Clark Atlanta University, Division II school in Atlanta, HBCU, working with guys like Coach McNeil. That was my first time meeting our new interim head coach now, Steve Wilkes, Rod Robinson, my AD at the time, Tamika Jones, now athletic director, deputy AD at Kennesaw State. So those people, not only just helped me grow and taught me a lot, but they're friends to this day,
Right. So one of the things getting back to the engagement, player development, player engagement piece of it, you are a strength coach at some Power 5 schools.
Yes.
And I think personally in the role, when I did player development, the people who spend the most time around players are going to be your strength staff, your training staff, player development, and academics. And so there's a variety of people who listen to this podcast. And you talked about how you got in the role. I'm interested to see how that transition was from, leading, young men in the weight room, 120, to getting in the NFL where it's 50, 60, 70, maybe. Like how was that transition? And I know you're about people, and treating people well. I know that transfers, but just if you could talk about the practical transition from going from,
no doubt.
In the weight room to player engagement.
It's not very different because my path that I went on, like you got to educate yourself or whatever you're going into. Mm-hmm. I just had to talk with Corey Campbell, went off to be the head strength coach at Nebraska. I said, "Are you ready?" He was one of our interns at the time. I was at Georgia. He's a player there, intern. Mm-hmm. And he was confident going into it because he knew we had people like us that would, like myself, that he can lean on. And the practical side of it is preparing yourself. If I'm going to go into player engagement, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to call and study and research every aspect of it as I can, as far as the practical side of things, and put myself in a position to have these conversations. But at the same time, my transferable people skills and personality, I think are going to break the ice for me. But now I got to have some content behind it. Right. Can I help a guy work with Microsoft Excel? Can I help a coach navigate through PowerPoint? All those things. Like I said, the path that God put me on has allowed me to be in position to be in a position of calling plays, writing plays, watching film, teaching guys how to watch film. So now, once the ice is broken with the relationship part of things, I have some things I can fall back on, some of the skills and talents that I've been through throughout my career to help me get where I'm at now. So the practice side of it, just put myself in a position. Like I've always trying to find a way of what type of certificate can I get through online? What conference can I go to learn from somebody that's taught reading? What books can I read that's going to put me in a position to be a better leader, or not just a better leader, but a developer of people. So, you're constantly reading, you're constantly writing, learning, and asking questions. If you don't ask a question, you will never know. And that's people, too many of us are too humble, too proud, too big of an ego to ask a question.
Right.
And, it's a question that you should ask. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Sorry to cut you off, but I think that's huge, like the questions, right? Because the people who ask me the most questions about player development are the strength staff, right? I like last university I was at, one of the strength staff members, like they would always come in like, Jones, you break this down. You're always around with us. Like, and we start working together where it's like, hey, I would come down to, before like 30, 40 minutes before a workout. Hey, just want to let you know this is going on in so-and-so's life, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, I would always communicate. And it's kind of like sometimes coaches would get frustrated because I would go through my chain, like, all right, I got to talk to strength staff. I got to go talk to, training staff. I got to talk to EQ. I got to talk these people that are there all the time. And it's like, all right, let me get all this information and then relay it to the coach. But like you said, I found that, like the people who ask the questions are the people around the most, and it's just for me that is something that you get a lot of information, because I'm like you, I try and, answer every DM and every message I get, but it is interesting how many people aren't humble enough to ask. So what does your day look like? I mean, you probably get this question a lot.
Yeah,
I get it all the time.
I'm gonna do it make it short. So another one thing I've learned too over the years, that a lot of people try to get into these roles thinking, oh man, it's easy, nothing really do. It's a lot more like they think coaches stay in office all day long, so I may leave the building at 2 or 3 o'clock, but I'm not getting home to 10, 11 o'clock at night because I'm making different stops at different players' houses or meeting for, just a regular sit down somewhere, that's outside of building. In the field that I'm in the National Football League, people got to understand like the stadium and the building is a locker room for them. They don't want to be in there all day long. So we got to get up off our butts and go engage and meet them where they are to develop them. So my day starts off in the morning. Like I try to make sure that I'm, not somebody in our department, which we're one of the first ones in the building when the players are getting it. If we have a practice squad workout at 7 a.m., one of us there before they get that started. So we can always have somebody around. So it starts off for me personally, and take it back to myself, and other really think about it, not think about it, but just explain it. Start off myself with personal and spiritual development in the morning. I get in the morning about my office. That's at least an hour, 30 minutes I can spend with myself from 6 to 7, or from 7 to 8 before we go anything big. All right, the next thing I go through email check. You got to go through email. You get a lot of emails from all over the place, and you got to, it's really good to respond back and just to be, courteous, and even if it's just a one-liner, but just something to get back to people. The next thing is being present all day long for not only players but coaches, and that's the thing people are missing. Like, it's more than just player development, but you got to develop the people that's going to be around your players to help them continue to help them develop. And then it goes to I do quite a few one-on-one meetings with different staff, different players. And then we have to, within every organization is different. So within our organization, they allow us to be in staff meetings and personnel meetings. So I try to make sure I hit all those things throughout the day. And even if I'm sitting in the back and I can sit in one for, 20 minutes, I can still excuse myself and go to the next meeting lined up, or go to the next person, or try to go get down to the CAF, where all the players are coming out of meetings at one time, or, just got to know the whole schedule of the day and make yourself available to everybody. So that's a short version of what's going on.
Yeah. It's interesting. You brought up something in our last week's show. We had Dr. Lori Robinson from the Ravens, and she talked about, you in more detail, but meeting the players where they are. I think a lot of times in college, and I've even thought it in college, you got your office, you set your office up for people to come, and, and like or we have a program or something, and it's like, man, they didn't come. They're not coming upstairs. So what is your advice for those? You gotta go
where they are. You gotta tap into the athletes, or the athlete, or the coach that you're looking to engage with or develop. I don't believe in sitting there guarding your desk. You know what I'm saying? Some organizations have their player development staff right on the second floor where the GM's at, and they don't want to go deal with those people, or at the college level, the player development office is right where the coaches are. They're tired of seeing the coaches. So I
used to call it coaches row.
Yeah, even when I was a strength coach, like when I had time off, like I'm going to where the players at, they're down there, they're on the field doing one walkthrough or lifting with the guys, or down to college NFL level. I'm meeting guys with them. I'm going to their houses. They're coming to my house. We meet at cigar lounge. These are adults now, so we can do different things. I'm not a drink. I don't drink, but I do enjoy cigars. So I have a weekly thing where the guys come meet me at the cigar lounge. We sit down and talk, or we're meeting up at a bowling alley. We're meeting up just to go sit out in the parking lot and talk. We're going down street to the car show. We're just going different things, getting out of the building and going where the players are at. So the players always got something going on.
Right.
So, and especially when if they invite you to something, go, show up to it. Right. Don't just say, okay, yeah, not show up. That means something to them. You know what I'm saying? With the Shaq had do you think these guys don't know? Shaq had one of our players, Shaq Thompson's number 7 our linebacker, had an event where he brought a bunch of kids from the city in to see to get the dentist. Now he invited hundreds of people there. Thomas Davis, Derek Brown, all these big name guys. I got a text from him at 11 o'clock at night. Oh, Gus, I didn't see you there. Now that's on his mind because he asked me to come because he physically didn't see me. That meant something. So I had to send him pictures that I was there. I was looking for him. I sent him with the station I was at, and that meant the world to him. Little things like that.
That's awesome.
Go a long way, and who you think Shaq won't notice that you're not there. If those guys ask you to do something, they really care about you. Right. Hey, Gus, can you route me up to the DMV? I got to work my way through this process of getting, a driver's license, little things like that, like you got to make yourself available to go do, you got to have an organization and people around you to support that. Because you got some head coaches that want to see just to see you. Right. Just to see you. You sit behind your desk, to them you're working. No, that's not the case. My title is player engagement. I got to engage and be where the players are. If you're at the college level, you got your title is player development. So you got to go and be where the players are, engage with them to develop them. So that's my whole thought process involved. And even I can keep going, like even with our process with Mark Rick years ago, we talk about what does player engagement, player development looks like. Jonas Jennings at Georgia, I was there when we hired Jonas. You see what I'm saying? Fernando, now in the Atlanta Falcons. Right. We tried to get Fernando down to Miami with us before we even started. So we just got to get the right people around and that really want to, put the time in to be with the guys and be around them and can truly help them develop. So yeah, we go over there, or you got to go over there. You can't sit in your office all day, man. It's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting you said that, because like I got invited. I'm like 2 weeks in working at Baylor, and our tight ends. He just came, hey coach, I know your family's not here. My girlfriend's playing a softball game. If you want something to do this evening, we'll be there. So I show up, and he's like, oh, what's up?
The greatest thing in the world, means a lot to him.
Right. 2 weeks in. So it helped me with his teammates that came, because they're like, oh, this guy's reliable. So anybody listening to this? Oh yeah, man. Absolutely.
You can, like, people look on my Facebook, man. I've coached high school from guys from 2004, 2007, and some days when Mark Rick did that article on me that came out, I had guys from 2005 and 2004 wrote right on the thing like, man, I remember I used to go to coach's house and play Madden all day. I remember, and I still do those things. I still, I'm a big video gamer. Like so I don't hide that from those guys. I enjoy building Lego. Like this is my area. So they know these things, and I'm not ashamed of who. I'm not ashamed of. Those are just hobbies I have to piece myself. But those guys are interested in those things. So they're like, man, coaches, he does that. And so it's cool for me to do it. I post Bible scriptures. Now I got a guy like Gus Edwards, who's playing the Baltimore Ravens, who used to be shy about it. Now he's open about it. PJ Walker, guys are just open about sharing their love for Christ. And that's what you got to do, man. Meet them where they are, man. You got to go get them.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned in player engagement?
Man, that's a good question. Let me think. Just to be there for the guys. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question. Like the biggest thing I've learned, it's really called communication. Yeah. Really taking the time to listen. Really listen. Because a lot of times, when you're a coach and when you come in here, you want to just give advice and you just want to have an answer. You don't have to have an answer. Sometimes you just want to listen. And that was one of the biggest things I had to really not learn, but also push some other player engagement guys I hired in the past. That was one of my rules in Miami, hiring those guys are just really sitting back and listen to these guys. It's not babying them, it's really just listen, because they don't have no ones to listen to, because they're the ones looked at, they're the superstar they don't want to go to. Even staff members, they come to me and think, I don't know who else I can go to talk about this. I mean, coaches, grown adult coaches. So just really being able to just sit back and listen and know that you don't always have to have the answer, but you listening is the answer for them. You know what I'm saying? Then when you circle back around the second conversation, then you can start, hopefully, if they invite you back, and start applying some solutions to their problem they're dealing with. So listening is the biggest thing to learn. We'll take time and listen.
I like that adding coaches into it, because that is a part a lot of people don't talk about. So like, even
Yeah.
when you said, like, I remember I worked at a school, and one of our position coaches, he just walked in my office, closed the door. He said, "Man, I'm having a tough week." Like his
Yeah.
player, it was just, this guy was in trouble. He said, "Man, I just need to talk to you. And then if you could pray for me, he's like, to your point, he's like, I can't go nowhere else and tell nobody I'm having a tough week."
Yeah.
And even, coaches, you start talking to them. Like like, for instance, and I know you have this experience, you have a coach that may be a promising head coach one day. And you're like, "Hey coach, just, talk about culture, and like, hey coach, this is what I do in the program. And this is why I do things this way." And they're like, "Oh, whatever." Or one time I helped a coach at University of Houston when I worked there. He had a receiver room, and he had a freshman. Let me go back. At the University of Houston, I was helping this coach out. He had a freshman who wasn't doing well on the field. He's a big time player at his high school, but you know how it is. You get to college and everybody's pretty much the same. And so I told the position coach, I said, "Hey man, this kid got more community service hours in 2 months being here than your entire room." And then the coach used it. It lit the kid up. The kid goes to practice and he has a great day. So I love that you're talking about the integration with coaches, because it's really, truly, honestly, program development or program engagement or organization franchise for the level you're on.
And that's been my biggest initiative getting into player, because I was the AD.
Mm-hmm.
And who's there, and what I believe is missing in most colleges and most places is that development of the coach. You guys we have the transfer portal now. A lot of guys are transferring out of schools because of broken relationships with coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So why not put that focus and emphasis on bettering the coach to have a better relationship and communication with the player, so therefore the player don't want to leave. So I've talked about this with so many people before, and I'm going to keep pushing this. That's my ultimate goal is to get back to the college level at some point and continue to develop the coaches, because a lot of these ADs are coming in from the administrative or the financial side of things, and not how to work money, but they don't know how to deal with people, deal with coaches. And so a lot of times, I hate to say, a lot of them are intimidated or afraid of the coach.
Right.
Not me. I can have a relationship with all. Some of my greatest relationship friends are guys I consider hard coaches, like Jeremy Pruitt's a great guy. We talk all the time, but a lot of people are afraid to approach him because they see how he is, but he's a great dude if you sit there listen to him. So having that ability to sit down and better your coach and develop the coach, which in turns falls into place of developing the student athlete for better, whether it's college, pro, high school, whatever you got going on. So that's why it's a big push for me. So I sit on, I do a lot of stuff with you, but I find it with our Bill Wash Fellowship Program, because meeting these guys coming in and see where they are and helping them along the way, and just because sometimes those guys are going to get lost in the shuffle with all the stuff going on. Try to make them feel welcome, make them feel important, give them some advice, say hi to them, get them out their little funks. So they're doing stuff they're not used to doing, running papers, they used to calling shots, and you see it from the outside, I think it's one thing, and get into the organization, like, man, I really signed up for this. So
yeah, it's interesting you say that, because same deal for me. I was like, I just want to see people. I like developing people. And so I'll go in a coach's room who like you said, maybe a hard coach people don't want to approach. "Hey coach, I see that you do this well," or community. I told one young coach, I'm at this school, and he just communicated well. I said, and I told him, I put him aside, I said, "Dude, you're the best. Like, I've never heard a coach communicate. Like I said, I don't know what position you coach, but I listened to you for an entire period, and I feel like I can do what you're asking." Or you may see another coach, and and eventually you just talk to them, and then they come in and they ask you, "Hey, how should I approach this? How should I do this?" Because I think, like you talk about the money side of ADs, it is like, hey, we need to get money, we need to fundraise, we need to build this. But I feel like retention and empowering people like saves you money. So now, okay, if the kids don't leave, we don't have to spend more money on all these official visits to bring kids in to replace them. Or we don't have coaches that are, whatever it may be. I just think there's a huge void in professionally developing coaches outside of X's and O's, or even administrators, and how to develop people. How can we make this
100%.
enhancing? I remember I worked with one coach and sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but he works in the NFL right now. James Casey coaches tight ends for the Bengals. He was a big time player at Rice, and our coaches went on the road. His first time, coaching in college. And he's like, "Hey, can you break down this?" I had just came from high school. I was a high school recruiting coordinator, so I knew the transcripts and all this stuff. And like for 3 hours, I told him, this is what you do when you walk into a school. This is what you ask for. And he's asking me questions like, why would I go to this person? Why do you go? Like, why do they? And it was just like, wow, like there was a development gap that could have aided a young coach. So.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's a good point. That's how you got to hit it, man. You got to hit the athlete from every angle, give them a better experience and better life while they're there, you know.
Absolutely. We're going to stop it there. Like I said, Gus did an incredible job. He's done so much. Gus is strength coach, principal head coach, athletic director. He's done so much and he's crushed it everywhere he's been. Now, I'm going to take this time to talk about the 3 takeaways that I have from my time interviewing or having a conversation with Gus. Number 1, work with different types of people. Gus talked about how he has different experiences. I just named a few of them. But when you have these different experiences, you're able to work with different types of people. When you work with different types of people, you get different frameworks on how people communicate, how people see things, how people get things done, how people critically think, problem solve. So as you're around other people, you're not only understanding how to work with them, but you're learning stuff that may help you in your career. Number 2, listen. Listen. He talked about listening and how it is so imperative to stop and listen. Thank you. You just stopped and listened. Now, as you all know, I talk a lot, very loquacious. My mom would always tell me, Ed, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. And so Gus talked about listening and how listening can help you provide value to the lives of the athletes you serve. And then number 3, develop yourself. Develop yourself. Now, I've got to know Gus personally, and the way I got to know Gus personally was I developed myself. I went to the combine in 2022, and he was one of the people I reached out to. We didn't have a relationship prior to that, but he took time. He met with me outside of the player engagement meeting, and then we met later that night and we talked about player engagement. And so because I developed myself, I was able to get to know Gus, who develops himself. And over the time, we've done a lot of things. He sent me articles. I've sent him things. He's given me advice. It's been great. I've been able to, from afar, help his staff. And so he talks about developing yourself. And I saw Dr. Lacey Carmen Johnson. Shout out to you, Dr. Lacey, who will be speaking at the Player Development Conference. Let's go. She talked about, there was a recent post she had about the one of the best investments you can make in your life is an investment in yourself. And so developing yourself, if you're listening to this and you're worried about that, or maybe if I develop myself, it's going to take time away from the goal, or I need to do something else, develop yourself, learn, go out. Watch something that has nothing to do with sports, read a book that talks about this, communication, leadership, whatever it may be. But take time to develop yourself. Now, let me get you back to this episode. So what does support look like to you in the role in player engagement, player development? It's a growing field. I love it. But there are a lot of areas where, you've probably heard people say, like, just ask, like, what do you do? How do you do? Because like you said, people want to see you at a desk and you're around. So what does support look like? It's
hard because I'll tell you this right now, that every player engagement department in the National Football League looks different. Mm-hmm. The first thing, as far as support for me, it's like I was blessed to have a head coach, interim head coach, who truly believe in what we do, and that they they look at us and say, hey, we're the glue of the organization. Mm-hmm. They need us and they speak about us. Go see Gus or Jay, go see Gus, go see the player engagement department. Every team meeting we're getting shouted out for something, and they put us at the forefront because they know. They don't dig and ask questions about what's going on. We got something that's really like we're the liaison between the players in the front office, the players and the coaches, and so forth. And they're not prying. They're not using our words against us. They're keeping everything private if we take something to them. Mm-hmm. And when they take things that's going to be harsh to the player and the organization. So support for us, it looks different from where everybody else is. People look at financially support is going to be good. You got a program, you want to bring something in, you want to do something for the team. Them saying go ahead and no, not saying no is always helpful. And we've never been told anything we asked for since we've been here. And that's the blessing. Like I said, when we're not at meetings, we're invited to meetings. So the support for us is really, the push from that end, from our GM, from our head coach, really push and support what we're doing. Like even when I went out and ordered t-shirts, sweatshirts for the whole fall of players, man, I got up my GM asking for one, the head coach asked for one. They not only ask for one, they wear it and they're proud to wear it. They're walking around showing, in front of the team, picking on other stuff who don't have one, So I'm saying, so that support is just that they really, really believe in what we're doing. This is for us. Like I said, every organization is different. I know some player engagement staffs, they're not allowed to go into team meetings. They're not allowed to go into staff meetings. Like us, like we're looked at to be there. They expect us to be there, which is good. Not that we have to, but they want to know. They want us to hear what's going on. Personnel meetings, talking about draft stuff. They want us around for all those things, and that's the biggest thing. The biggest support that we need is them adding value to us, and then allow us to do our job.
Nice.
So, and that's the biggest thing. I can't speak for every organization in the National Football League, but I can speak for us. And I believe the support we have from from Matt Rule was tremendous, and now the support we're getting from Steve Wilkes is great, and our GM Scott Fitter is outstanding in support what we're doing.
Nice.
And it starts with our ownership too. So I'm going to go back one of the biggest step. Our owner, Nicole Tepper, she is the overseer of player engagement. So she's all in. She's at just about she'll fly in just for a player's community service event and fly back out. She's here at everything. She's always around. Is outstanding. Is great. She loves it. She's another one that's always pushing us and broadcasting us and making sure we're around for stuff. And great. So it starts with the ownership and all the way down with support for what we're doing. And, and just not just showing support, but actually talking about to the players, to everyone in the organization.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah.
This next section is advice, and this advice would be like you speaking to, let's say this is a college student in a sports management program and they just found out about player development. What would be your advice to them looking to get into this role?
They would, and this is an easy one because this is a great one. I really would advise them to get some experience in working with different types of people. Yeah, I don't believe you can take a former player and throw them right into player engagement. I think that's one of the worst things you can do, because they don't have that experience of dealing with crisis situations, dealing with people. Of course you played, you have an insight for what's like in the locker room, but when you're in the locker room, you probably only dealt with a small group of people.
Right.
So go out and get some experience. Go be a coach somewhere. Go work it. Go start your work your way up the ladder. It's going to be there. Like me, I'm blessed tremendously to be where I'm at and do what I'm doing. But I have other goals to be at the college level as an AD or another director of player engagement. A player director of development at a college level. So those are there, but I'm gonna stay here as long as I can keep developing. But my experiences and my past has given me the wisdom I have now to do the job that I'm doing right now. So a lot of guys, the worst thing you can do, and this coming from some GMs, the worst thing you can do is take a former player who has not had no coaching experience or working experience in the world and throw them in that role, because they're going to get lost and get swamped when it comes down to doing the behind the scenes, one-on-one meetings, typing up different reports, talking to the NFL about programming, about IR programming. So much more goes into it that they don't see, that they assume that gets done. But I would advise you to get some experience, and that could be any type of experience of working with individuals at all levels and ages. A lot of guys I have over 30 guys in the league that I've coached or worked with from high school and college before I got to the National Football League. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So that makes it easy for me when I come talk to Gus, because they can just call the guy that know me, and they always want, hey, such and such, somebody come talk to you about this. Never talked to the guy ever, but I broke the ice for the icebreaker. So go get some experience, meet some people, build and foster some good relationships, and I think you'll be ready for it.
Awesome, thank you. It's interesting, and I'll use this. At the combine, I heard it's interesting you say that, because at the combine, somebody was speaking to me like that player engagement is really moving to practitioners, people who do have that overall experience, from the college level or whatever. And so it's good to hear that. What's the best advice you've received in your life?
Control what you can control. It ain't no cliche. This is real. This is go way back to my high school football coach, George Curry, and it's great to hear other people say it along the way. And that's the biggest thing. Focus on controlling things you can control. And when you work hard, great things happen. That's not I live by those things. There's not no philosophy, it's not like that. If anybody knows, they're going to hear me say that. So why stress ourselves out on stuff that we have no control over? Gotcha. So that's the biggest thing. You control what you can control and focus on those things.
All right. So do you have any practical nuggets, like practical practices that you use, maybe even processes that those in the role can benefit from? Don't give away all the gold.
Yeah, man. I'm still trying to get out there. I'm just like, look, reply and check emails. That's a first and foremost. You're never too busy. We have Steve Jobs changed the world years ago when he said it back in 2006 that I'm going to change the world with this device. This is the phone, the smartphone. You have time to get back to people. I know sometimes we get flooded with emails. Like, even if I don't get back to you right away, I always find a way to get back to you, whether I'm driving, I got a checklist of stuff I got to do. These devices do more than Snapchat and Instagram and all that stuff. They can set calendars, set reminders, so all those things. So just one practical thing is always be in position to reply and get back to people, and you can't be worried about what their response is going to be. You just got to be open and honest with them when you're responding. And the next practical thing I was going to do, you don't know everything. We don't know we don't have all the answers. Study, read. All right, read.
Yes.
All right, that's the biggest thing I'm telling you. Read. I have a book club here with the guys that I do. I opened it up to everybody in the building. Somehow chefs, equipment staff, anybody that wants a book from Gus, I'm gonna have put on the screen with the book of the month. Come get a book, come read. We'll talk. If I catch you in the hallway, if I give you a book, I'm gonna ask you a question about the book, not to test you, but just to start a conversation. Right. Just to get you thinking, try to get you thinking, outside the box. But read and reply to emails. I'll leave it at that because I got a whole list I'm not gonna go through.
I already know. Can't give all the gold. So you talked about taking care of players, coaches. You even brought up chefs. The entire organization, the franchise. How do you take care of yourself? What's your self-care routine?
My self-care routine, man. I do go look. I have a wife with 5 girls, so I go get my nails done. I don't get them painted. I get them buffed out. I do that. But I do read. I enjoy cigars. So if anyone knows me, knows Gus, I enjoy the time to sit back and have a cigar. I can doing it while that cigar usually actually last you from an hour to 2 hours, an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Of just some relaxed time, your meditation time. I'm either watching a podcast, I'm reading a book, I'm building a Lego set. So I do anything that's going to be peaceful for me. And I have places, I have my office in the house decked out with Lego. Mm-hmm. I have a building station out in my back deck where I can build Lego, watch TV or watch a game. But I try to find some time, if I get home, I'm going to put an hour aside, and either my family put their with me by myself, but I put my time myself so I can better myself, either reading books, building Lego, smoking a cigar. That's always going to be. So people ask me, how many cigars you have a day? You got to ask me. I mean, how many days a week you have a cigar? You got to ask me how many days I don't have cigars on, but it's every day. Okay. People that know Gus know I'm going to read.
Yes.
I'm going to spend time in the Word. I got my people who like to call my pastor. He's the team chaplain for University of Georgia. His name is Thomas Settles. I call him and talking about a lot of stuff. I have my friend Will Moray, who's out in Boston. He's one of the guys I had on my staff for years, who I can call to and call and vent to and talk to. So we got to have those people. Sometimes I call my agent with stuff and talking about things, make them listen. Right. But yeah, you got to have somebody you got to have that time to yourself. You got to have meditation time to yourself. I used to be a big weightlifter. I used to be in the weight room, kind of fell off of that a little bit. I get back into it, keep saying I'm going to do it, but it'll come. I lift enough weights for everybody. Just trust me, believe that. Those things I do, man. Like I said, video games, anything that's peaceful, I'm going to relax and chill.
So Legos, it's been brought up a couple of times. I got to ask, when did it start? Years
ago, man. My grandpa had a set. My grandma and grandpa had a set years ago, a little small, so I used to backstack houses. But then as my son started getting older, we've just been buying sets. If I show you this collection, man, you think it's crazy, man. It's all of them. I've been casted to be on Lego Masters twice.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I couldn't do it because of the timing, but I build Lego. I wish I could show you my dining. I'm at my table right now in the dining room. And we have a whole Home Alone Disney Castle Lego set up with a train going around it right here. My office is decked out with it. My office at work is decked out with it. The guys bring me Lego gifts sometimes, and see my cup. Yeah, yep, my big old soul. Yep.
Let's go. So do you approve of all the Lego movies?
Yes, they're great. Great comedic outcome in it. Let's say outcome. She's great comedic plot written to it, some great actors in it. Yeah, man, I approve of it. Plus for me, see, I got kids, so it gives me time to sit down. Yeah. They think it's for them, but it's really for me. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I saw the first one. My daughter was watching. She was young. I just had to get something cartoony to get her eyes. I'm sitting there cackling like,
you gotta get them, man. The movie's for us, man. They just
absolutely
look for kids.
Absolutely. Well, rapid fire questions. Here we go. All right. So, question number 1: what are you reading right now?
What I'm reading right now, I'm going through again a book called Kingdom Man by Tony Evans.
Man, yeah. Dr. Evans, I listen to him.
And I'm not being corny. I look, and I also have another one. People think I make all my books got these tabs on it. I'm also reading through the 5 Little Wings for Men. Not the purple one for everybody. It's for men. These are, and every book I have, all notated and written in, my own notes, everything. You see, I post them every now and again.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So those are 2 books I'm reading right now. I just finished Destiny by Ryan Holiday. So yeah.
Gotcha.
So go ahead and go flip another one.
Okay. What daily discipline are you working on?
Daily discipline is consistency. I'm fasting right now, so I got to stay consistent with that. That's my daily thing. Make sure I start and stop my fast at the same time. I was great at it when I was a strength coach. I'm not a strength coach anymore. So I was great at it then, so I got to get back to doing that. So that's my consistency is my biggest thing right now.
Gotcha. All right. I like snacks. So I always ask this question. So I got all these interviews from all around the United States.
Let's get it.
Someone gives you $25 for lunch in Charlotte. Where you going?
It's crazy. I don't have a place in Charlotte I go to. I haven't found anything. I haven't. I really haven't. It's driving me, my wife and I crazy. I keep going back to when I go back to Georgia. I have not found a place in Charlotte where I can, all the time I've been, I cannot say, hey, this is the place I have to go to. If I have to say anything, the closest thing I can get out here will be Waffle House, but there's nothing out here for me that grabs my attention. Like, hey, I got to go there.
All right, you can't find nothing in Charlotte. What you got for Georgia?
Cotton Calf and Brothers in Georgia.
Okay.
Let me have cigars out front. They put me a little corner set up when I call them coming over there. It's all ducked off in a little corner in a little small remote section of Brothers in Georgia. And I can sit out there and do my thing.
Okay. $125 for dinner.
Del Frisco's easy.
Okay.
Yeah, Del Frisco's. And there's only a couple of them around Philadelphia. They have one here in Charlotte, Del Frisco's.
Okay. Nice. If you could join a band or music group, past or present, who would it be?
Boys II Men.
Oh, that's right. Motown Philly. Yeah. That's
Boys
easy right there.
Old school R&B.
Man, that's good right there.
Man. How about you? What's yours? I got to hear it now.
Oh, that's a good one. So Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I would have to learn how to hit those high notes, but it's more the things they wore and just the energy. You know, like I forgot what the guy named, the bass player. I think his name is Bill. I don't know his name, but he's still to this day, man. He gonna sweat and man, like that's just. I grew up listening to my dad would play it, and he would get mad at me like if I missed the word, he's like, "Don't sing out loud." So
that's good. My dad played the bass guitar for the Apollo, the Uptown in Philly. Played for all those dudes.
Wow.
Man. Yeah, that's another story. I got. Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Pictures and everything, man. I got people when he passed away. I got people from the band writing me and talking to me all this, tell me more stories, send me more pictures and stuff. So it was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you ever see him play live?
No, I was little, man. My brother and I were little. We went to school early. My mom and him, he was, that was back in the day. I was born in 78, so they was traveling around, we stayed with our grandparents. But yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. All right. If you could co-star in a movie, who would it be? Action and comedy?
I like a lot of comedy movies, man. So if I go action, I don't know if this fits in the action part of it, or I don't know if it's drama, whatever you call it, but I would love to be in the Walking Dead. All right. And then as far as comedy, man, there's so many of them out there, man. I'm gonna go something probably gonna blow your mind. You don't know about, you probably do know about the old movies like Cannonball Run and all those things, Smoking the Band, those type of things. Yeah, I like something. Yeah, stuff like that. If you want to go modern, my favorite TV show of all time, I think I can play on would be The Office.
Office.
I think I can have a starring role in The Office.
Office is good. And in Office, I got connected with one of my favorite shows, Parks and Rec, off of watching Office.
Same writer, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was good one. All right, so what actors would you co-star?
Whew, man, you got me. I don't know names. Let me see. I like to do something with Will Ferrell, see if I can hold together him and Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart in a comedy. That'd be great. But action stars, oh man, let me see. I'm gonna tell you something. So I'm gonna say a little bit about Gus, man. So I started in the show, appeared in the show with John Stamos from Full House.
Didn't know that.
Show about mental health for athletes was called Necessary Roughness. So if you go back and watch season 1, 2, and 3, you'll see me as a player, and I became a coach. So I was on it for a little bit. Yeah.
Nice. Well, there we go. That's a first. That's a player development pod first.
And I also appeared on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Nice.
That's not real, people. Don't think that show's real. It's not real. It's all scripted.
I already know. I just because my wife watches it, and I'm just like, there's no way you could keep hanging out with people like unless there's
some of it make it real. Those who make some of it real, but it's all written out, man.
I was just like, because some of these scenes, I'm like, man, all right, that's a level of disrespect I can't take. Like, I was watching something the other day where might have been Real Housewives or something. They're throwing drinks on each other, and I'm kind of like, all right, like if you want to get to her, you can. You can get to her. My wife watches it every now and then. I walk by and I just get hooked, like because I'm just now that you said it, I'm just like, this seriously can't happen.
Yeah.
Next question. What sport do you wish you played growing up?
Boxing.
Nice.
That's my favorite sport of all time.
Nice.
I grew out of it. They told me I grew out of it. So, yeah.
Nice. Do you ever want to be a ring announcer or anything like that?
No, you want to get in the ring and hit people, man. I never did it.
Just hit left, right combo.
That's it.
All right. Well, all right. The last question is more of a question for our followers. How can they support you, follow you, different social medias, or just, support you overall?
My Twitter and Instagram is at Coach Felder.
Mm-hmm.
That's real simple. That's what I use. I post from Instagram and it goes to all of them. So it goes everywhere. So yeah, at Coach Felder on Twitter and Instagram, and just you can support me by continue to call. Can you push the method? Develop these people around you, man.
Nice.
Be a blessing to somebody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on and being a part of season 2. I appreciate you. We were at a cigar bar. It was awesome spending that time with you in a cigar bar, just giving me game and just your heart for people. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on here.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of you, man. Thanks for having me, man. Keep this thing going and you kill it, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Let this thing grow. Don't nobody stop you either.
I appreciate it.